to do, but don't forget to take time for yourself. Acupuncture relieves stress, pain, and treats all sorts of disorders safely and without side effects. And if you have someone in your life who could benefit from acupuncture, giving them a gift certificate is a great way to get them started. At Chicago Community Acupuncture, we charge about half of what others charge. And don't worry about quality. We have the highest levels of training and over 25 years experience. Top quality acupuncture at an affordable price. Acupuncture has helped billions of people. It can help you too. Call us at 773-853-0920, 773-853-0920, or go to chicomacu.com, chicomacu.com. And happy holidays from your partners in health at Chicago Community Acupuncture.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez.
From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing ass says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
So happy New Year. Hi, everyone. We are driving it home, and I'm your host, Patti Vasquez. I hope that you had a lovely New Year's celebration. At least we had a very quiet, subdued celebration. We hung out at home. A friend of mine and her daughter came over, and we enjoyed ourselves. We had a lovely evening. And I hope that everyone stays safe. As you know, today our numbers are through the roof once again in Illinois. IDPH has not quite updated all their numbers to bring us up to speed on how things have unfolded over this past holiday weekend. I also I do want to talk a little bit about our hospital numbers. We often discuss this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated, and they are saying that 90%, the reports, the studies, the data is showing that about 90% of those who are in serious condition in hospitals are unvaccinated. But the problem is that I have, hold on, I'm getting breaking news. Rush is, what is happening? Who is retiring? Oh, Bobby Rush is retiring. Is that what I'm getting? I believe that's the text I'm getting from our newsroom. So here's the other thing. I have so many things in my head right now. COVID numbers, our hospitalizations, this being a pandemic of the unvaccinated, which I do not agree with because it is a pandemic to our healthcare system. It is a strain, and a lot of folks who need care, whether it's a heart attack or a car accident, surgeries that are important right now are being postponed because there simply is not the staff, the beds, and the equipment. And it is this is catastrophic for certain communities in Illinois and across the country. I want to stress something that Joan was talking about at the end of her show, and that conversation with Elizabeth Alfano, so important. Elizabeth Alfano takes so much grief. I have heard her get attacked in the middle of a conversation from when I was at WGN Radio. She would be rudely interrupted by one of the biggest voices in radio telling her that she was misinforming people, that her information wasn't correct and all these things. And she maintained, if there is somebody to look toward as far as keeping a positive attitude, staying on task, showing up for the work, and not being dissuaded or impacted by negativity, hostility, and threats. Elizabeth Alfano is a great example of that. And at the end of Joan's show, she was talking about making sure going into 2022, we have all these resolutions. I know that we talk about eating better, which was a big part of what they were talking about with Elizabeth Alfano, and moving towards moving away from animal-based products. And again, you can do it in small steps. Every little bit counts. It matters. And the next thing you know, you are eating a better quality of food and doing something for the environment. But what Joan said at the end of her show about being informed as to who your electeds are, who at every single level, find a website that gives you the easiest way to consume that information, whether it's openstates.org, Ballotopedia, all those resources are there for you. The Illinois Election Board of Elections has information on their website. You enter your address or your zip code, and you find out from alderman to state senator, state rep, hopefully you know who your mayor is, but maybe you don't. I mean, look, I don't assume that people know who all their electeds are. I know that it's hard to keep track of who your federal legislators are, who your local legislators are, who your townspeople, your board, all these different appointed positions. And I want to talk more about that in a little bit because, this pandemic, we've always had the ability to slow it down, and there are people who simply refuse through willful ignorance. But I see a pattern of knowing better and doing badly, and taking steps that have made this pandemic worse, has really challenged our healthcare workers, and a lot of it is those of us who refuse to wear masks. Even though we are vaccinated, we need to wear masks. We need to socially distance and wash our hands. It isn't once you're in a bar, all of a sudden you're immune. I have so many photos of electeds celebrating at events, just even in the middle of this surge with Omicron, because they were at holiday events or birthday parties. And I'm looking at these photos going, why? Why are we perpetuating this? And even Biden in that last address before the holidays saying that, the vaccinated don't have anything to worry about was misleading. And when we challenge these situations and our electeds who are Democrats and progressives, the GOP will point to it as an example of how we're eating our own and we can't get it together. No, you know what it is? We are willing to challenge each other and say we can do better. We are capable of more, and we need to take the right steps. And we'll talk about that more in a moment. We've got Jim from Chicago is calling in about January 6th. I could talk about that too. Jim, what's on your mind?
Hello, Freddie. Happy New Year. If you're a clairvoyant, what do you think Uncle Trump's press conference will be like down in Florida? How many words it'll be? How much legs it'll have? I mean, if you want to be clairvoyant, how many stations will carry it? You probably have every religious station carrying it. You'll have all the right-wing stations carrying it.
Sure, I think
it should be nightmarish. It should be nightmarish. Sure.
Oh yeah, the word stew that he puts out there. Yeah, the vocal vomit.
Joan was saying that. She felt that, that should be piped down and nobody should listen to it. But that's like saying, everybody will be on this thing. I'm sure that Bannon and the boys are giving him some kind of a speech to give. I don't know how do you explain about trying to subvert the vote of the United States because you're nuts. Real quick about the COVID.
Sure.
In the beginning of this thing, I was listening to radio. Let's say it's 2000, and when I went to hiding in March of 2020, I heard a doctor say, take a little piece of nylon and put that in your mask. So I did. I went to the jeweler. I bought cheap nylons, and I cut it up, and I put a piece in my nose, and I'd have them in a couple of masks, and I'd wash them out. So that worked well for me. And now whether it works for anybody else, I don't know.
Right. Yep.
And the other thing was crazy about when I got the vaccine, my liver's pretty well shot, but when I felt like Superman. I got a pint of whiskey into a bar. I thought I hit the lotto. That's right.
For getting the vaccine?
First shot. Yeah, I'm going to live. I'm going to tiptoe through the tulips. Tiptoe through the tulips. You know what I mean?
I think you're absolutely right. There was a sense of euphoria because we were like, okay.
Yeah, it was like, oh my God, I might live. Could I actually outlive this crazy thing?
Yeah.
But 2 years is just the psychological damage.
Yeah.
We don't even know. We have no idea what. I got some elderly people that are, they're seeing things and everything else. I mean, the psychological damage is. God only knows.
Immeasurable. I think you're right. Yeah.
But everybody, I just hope to God that this thing's supposed to dissipate more rapidly than the other one did, according to what I've been hearing. So that's a good thing.
Well,
and I think these.
To your point about we can't, no, it's okay. We can't measure the mental health impact. We also aren't going to have the numbers of people who put off getting diagnosed or treatment or all those things because in these 6 to 8 weeks that we have strained the medical care of our country, that's going to be, we're not going to be able to capture those numbers, and the negative impact, the catastrophic nature of that, I think is immeasurable as well.
Well, absolutely. Everything, like a month would go by and I'd be, hermitized here. I'd feel a pain somewhere, and I go, "Oh dear God!" I said, I can't go to a doctor. You know, I'm getting this and I'm getting that. I mean, I'm diagnosing myself over a 2-year period to the point of insanity. You know, because you don't want to go to the doctor because you're. I mean, I took the dentist stuff. I finally went to the dentist, and that was a trip. But
I know.
But yeah.
I had an appointment. I had an appointment last week, and I was like, I was going to make myself go. I wasn't going to cancel, and they called me and canceled the morning of because they had a hygienist that was out. Again, you know, we put a lot of strain on everybody and trying to get things done, and there was that rush, that sort of flurry of like before the holidays or before you had to have cards for vaccination, because magically, I guess today, Omicron is or Delta. Someone just texted me that people need to pay attention to. We keep talking about Omicron, but the Delta variant, which is the more severe strain of the COVID-19 virus. The thing is that we talk about Omicron because it's more transmissible, much more highly transmissible, much more.
Higher. But it's mostly not as deadly. With the help of God, I hope it's not as deadly. But unless you're not that old yet. But once you get that old, when I was at the track, all the old timers always talked about the price of their teeth. I mean, the price of their teeth went through the ceiling. You can spend 40 grand. No, you can spend 40 grand in a minute. And this mansion, this stupid mansions by splashing that bill, that had Medicare dental, for elderly people.
Yeah,
and it really is a problem because I mean the dentistry has just gone through the ceiling. Well, just a myriad of things that Bill would have done, for which I think we'll get part of it. Anyway, thanks for letting me rattle on today.
Hey,
so thank you, Jim.
Cheers! I'll tip one back for you tonight, Jim. I got some dead drop bourbon at home. I'll talk to you later.
Well, you can handle. You're young enough to handle it. Take care.
We'll see. One or two. Hey, Don, I am, you know what? I'm so glad you called because now my husband can remind me of something you've asked me to watch. I have not. Tell us what movie I was supposed to watch for the holidays.
8-Bit Christmas.
8-Bit Christmas. I'm going to write it down right now because I'm a tactile person. So 8-Bit Christmas. Did you watch My Christmas Assignment?
Oh, shoot. I apologize. We're both in trouble.
No, we are not in trouble. How was your New Year's, Don?
Very good, thank you. Very good. Actually, we're driving my son back tomorrow because he came home from the Army. My youngest guy came home for the holiday, so we're driving him back to the airport tomorrow.
Where is he stationed?
He's in Virginia right now, Fort Lee.
Okay. How far into his term is he in? Is it just in training, or is he?
He's about 3 months in, so he's done with basic, and he's going to some kind of school.
Yeah.
So it's kind of all new to us. That's why we're kind of,
That's exciting.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I know.
Yeah.
It is
exciting at the same time. Yes.
It's exciting. Look, I know I wanted to join the military when I was in high school and in college, and my mom begged me not to. Every family's a little bit different. I was her youngest, but it is something truly, I think to be full of pride with for when you have a child who is called to serve. So I congratulate you.
Oh, well, thank you. I got another thing you could watch. For anybody out there who wants to learn, if they have a Roku TV, there's a show on the Roku channels called 10 Weeks, and it shows there's 10 little clips, 5-minute clips of each week in boot camp and what they go through.
Oh.
And it's amazing. You're like, oh my God, they do that? And then they do that. Oh my God.
That is awesome. Yeah, I had the pleasure of covering both. I did the Recruit Depot for the Marines in San Diego, and then wow. I also was at the training for the Wounded Warrior Games down at Fort Hood. And I'll tell you something. It is always just when you talk to people from all walks of life, from all parts of the country, and what calls them to serve. I mean, I watched the young men come across the hill at the Crucible in San Diego. They're arduous. I think it's like 72 hours of training. It's incredible, and to see men and women who have given the sacrifice in serving their country and come together, and whether it was archery or they were doing basketball, volleyball, swimming, and the games were held here in Chicago just a couple of years ago. So we covered them, and it's yeah, it's incrable.
Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So my assignment is 10 weeks. It's 10 weeks, and it's about boot camp. So all the different things that the young people go through in training.
Yeah, that's on the Roku channel.
Awesome.
But your first assignment is the movie 8-Bit Christmas.
All right, you've only got one because it's an oldie and it might be hard. I think it's for rent.
What was the name of mine again?
It's Meet John Doe for everybody. Meet John Doe is Barbara Stanwyck. Yeah, Barbara Stanwyck and Gary Cooper.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Of course. Happy New Year, Don. Take care.
You too. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year. Let's take a break here. 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278 is the number to join the conversation because this is your conversation. I'm just checking my messages because I did send out an email to the folks at the Cook County Democrats committee because they had an event last month and we're hearing that it was a spreader event. And I knew that there were several people that tested positive last month in the days after the event, and we're hearing now there was a death involved, someone who contracted COVID, and that it was actually tied to that first person that was announced had tested positive for COVID. Again, we get vaccinated, wear your masks, and get tested to make sure we were and are negative. I've taken 4 tests in the last 6 or 7 days. It's not fun, but it's necessary to make sure that I keep my family, my friends, my community safe. More after this on Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez. That's me.
The Santita Jackson Show.
Voting suppression. It's being deeply encoded now. I mean, people are going to have less of an opportunity to get registered to vote. They're going to be purged from the rolls, and they're not going to have the time to vote. I mean, how do we plow through this?
The Santita Jackson Show. Weekday mornings at 6 on WCPT 820.
Right now, people are home with their pets more often, and I think now, especially with the shedding, they're more cognizant of what's going on and that it's an actual issue, and Dynovite has helped tremendously in our house with that.
I just heard the Dynovite commercial so many times, I said, you know what, I'll give it a shot, and I ordered it and tried it, and it worked.
The Dynovite, the being at home, working with them, they all love it.
Me and Chewy are together 24/7.
Within 3 weeks, he's not scratching and itching, and he's an all-around happier dog.
DINOVITE.com.
Hey, Jim! Thanks for coming.
Are you kidding? I never miss one of your dinner parties. How's the new job?
We're growing fast, and I stopped working weekends, thanks to how much smoother everything runs on NetSuite by Oracle.
Fantastic. We're still using QuickBooks.
Why haven't you upgraded to NetSuite?
We're making QuickBooks work, sort of.
Shh, watch your language. The kids are right there. Sorry, Amy. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more. NetSuite is everything you need to grow, all in one place. And 93% of surveyed businesses increase their visibility and control since upgrading from QuickBooks to NetSuite.
Yeah, sounds like it's time for me to switch to NetSuite. Over 27,000 businesses already use NetSuite. For the new year, NetSuite has a new financing program for those ready to upgrade at netsuite.com/advantage. Head to netsuite.com/advantage for this special one-of-a-kind financing offer on the #1 financial system for growing businesses. netsuite.com/advantage.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
West on 60, going a little fast. At Headland, fill the bourbon, love that didn't last. I turned toward the water to board that River Queen. I could feel my luck was changing as I heard her whistle scream. She walked up beside me as soon as I sat down. Her hand fell on my shoulders, the cards were dealt around. Before the night was over, swore that she'd be mine. But winding up the river, lost all sense of time.
It's Chris Jones and the Night Drivers with One Night in Paducah. You can go to chrisjonesgrass.com for more of his music. I look forward to having him in studio again, hopefully in the spring, as he makes his way around the world. I like watching his TikTok videos and showing us a glimpse of when he has the opportunity to tour. And of course, I'm a performer. I perform in front of live audiences. It's been my career for over 27 years, and the last 2 years has been just so devastating to people in the entertainment industry, in particular those who make their bread and butter at one-night gigs or weekends at a bar or a comedy club or small box theaters. And Jim and I were talking about the impact of mental health, and I know that there are friends of mine who just are not able to survive in stand-up comedy, and it's not easy. And I'm wondering for folks who are now planning to go out, maybe to the movie theaters or to live performances, because we are able to still gather. We're not shut down as long as you have in Chicago and Cook County proof of vaccination. And and when you go out, please, I'm just remember, especially like when your server comes up to the table, the polite, courteous thing to do is also put your mask on. This is an incredibly contagious virus. While the Delta variant is still accounting for many of the serious hospitalizations, Omicron is also causing illness and sending people to emergency rooms. So it's not like we were ever going to have, with the way our medical system is set up, a situation where we were going to be able to absorb the number of patients that contracted, whether it was going to be a pandemic of the flu or what we are going through right now. There were a lot of specialists, a lot of experts that in the last 10 years were urging policymakers, legislators, the president, everyone to be ready to figure out a way to systematically address a pandemic. And we did not do it. We need to make sure that emergency rooms, that hospitals are communicating with each other. We need to know that we have a plan in place for supporting our healthcare workers who are working sometimes 14, 16-hour shifts, going home, barely able to recuperate from a very long, trying, exhausting day, emotionally and physically. I mean, in places where they are trying to decide whether or not a stroke patient is going to be able to receive treatment or if they are going to have to treat. I mean, these are it's based on how they triage. And if somebody is presenting with treatable symptoms, and they have to put it in order of who is treatable, who is savable. And we are getting to the point where your loved ones could be in danger. It's icy out right now. Someone falls in your front sidewalk. Someone, takes their car, slides into a pedestrian. You slam into a guardrail. Whatever it is, I'm ready to wrap my mom up in bubble wrap and tell her not. Sorry, Mom. We've got to be careful, and we've got to do everything we can to avoid putting more of a burden on our healthcare providers, on our hospitals, so that those who need immediate care can receive that care. Hey, Dave in Hoffman Estates, how are you doing?
Hey, Patty. Hey, I got an assignment for you.
Excellent. All right. So far, I have 8-Bit Christmas and 10 weeks on Roku. I'm writing it down so I make sure that I have my list going.
This would be I was watching I've seen it before, the old reruns of the Twilight Zone. They had all weekend long. And I've seen this one before, and it's the episode. It was from season 4, episode 4.
Okay.
Called It's Alive. And it was Dennis Hopper, a young Dennis Hopper, where he played a Bush League Führer who yearns for more power. And then all of a sudden, he gets guided by a mysterious figure, which turns out to be Hitler's ghost.
Ooh.
And who ruthlessly begins to guide this young, insecure Nazi. And if you watch it and you listen to it, just listen to it. I mean, you don't even have to see it. And it sounds eerily like a Trump rally and all of the stuff that we're experiencing now.
Right.
But, I mean, definitely you and whoever, Roosevelt and all the guys that are into that stuff.
I will tell you a couple of things. When I was a child, my father loved Twilight Zone, so I remember some of them. Like I remember Burgess Meredith wanting to I'll just read, and I don't want to give away the spoiler for those who want to watch it and what happens to him. But I don't remember. I just pulled it up right now for folks who are interested. As Dave said, the episode is called He's Alive, and it aired on January 24th, 1963. Written obviously by Rod Sterling. But this sounds really so my dad was a big fan. But in my house, my son, my 18-year-old, has been a fan for over about 4 or 5 years. And I remember, like, honestly, Dave, we went to Disney World when he was like 15 years old, 14 or 15. And he was like, can we watch, we had Roku set up in our hotel room at Disney. And he wanted to get back to the hotel room to watch an episode of The Twilight Zone. One of the episodes that sticks out for me is the one where everyone's got the animal faces, like the pig faces.
Oh, yeah. They did that one. They did a whole all weekend long, but I'm telling you, you got to watch it, and like I say, you, Roosevelt, and Heather, all the guys that contributors that are, that got some good stuff, and like the old stuff. You watch that one, and I mean, like I say, you don't even have to watch the screen. You just listen to what they talk about, and
right.
It's like, good Lord.
Yeah, that's what we're in. They were talking about this earlier about whether or not, all it takes is whether or not Trump will be successful in being the nominee for the next presidential election, or is it somebody who's smarter and, a little more savvy? But it isn't. But that's the thing. Like, his followers don't care that they love that he's not smart. Like, that was always the big thing at the beginning was, well, he says, all the things that I don't want to say. Well, there are plenty of people on Lower Wacker Drive who will yell things at you, and I want to get care for them. We should have been getting care for this man rather than elevating him to the most powerful position in the world. Anyway, that's just my thoughts.
Well, you remember last week when I told you about that, my late friend, the one that had, when he had been in Germany and he had been in the Hitler Youth and that, and we were talking, and I asked him, I said, how could you people have been so buffaloed? And he just said, David, he said, Germany was so destitute and down at that time. He said it could have been anyone.
Right. And
he gave them hope. He said he gave them, the German people, hope.
Well, you also have, but it's not just hope. You have to have someone to blame for why things are wrong. And that's what they are very good at, is the othering. It was 50 years ago, it was the hippies and the black people, and then it was the feminists, and they're going to kill babies and all these things that you always have to have an enemy. And that's why they're left with just calling people commies again, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway, like I say, watch that, and like just what you just talked about. Just watch and listen to what the Hitler guy says, and then the other it would have been like a mentor. He was like a old Jewish guy, whatever. I think it was Paul Mazursky or something, was the actor.
Yeah.
And the guy, they started hearing these speeches, and he says, I've heard this all before in Berlin and all that. He said, and we laughed back then at them, not knowing what was to come. So.
Yep.
But you got to watch it, I'm telling you, and then just see what kind of feedback you get then on that.
All right, that's the assignment. He's alive.
Well.
You too, Dave.
Right,
talk to you again soon. Thank you so much. Let's take a break here. We've got Todd in Naperville has something to share with us as well. Ooh, a Netflix show. I binge watched Cobra Kai. That's because that's the kind of weekend I had, Paul. Cobra Kai. It was fun. More in a moment. 773-763-9278 to join the conversation.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago traffic update.
Inbound Edens, Lake Cook Road to Montrose, 17 minutes. Southbound 15. Inbound Kennedy, stop and go. Lake Street to Burn Interchange. O'Hare to Burn Interchange, take you 23 minutes. Outbound is slow. Burn Interchange to Lake Street. Burn Interchange to Montrose, take you 10 minutes. Also slow outbound Bryn Mawr to Sayre Avenue. Inbound Eisenhower heavy from 25th Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue. Stop and go Ashland Avenue to Burn Interchange. Route 392, the old post office, 35 minutes. Outbound Eisenhower heavy central to Austin Boulevard. Stevenson outbound heavy from California to Pulaski. Dan Ryan inbound solid Cermak Road to Burn Interchange. 95th to Burn Interchange, 19 minutes. Outbounds heavy Burn Interchange to Taylor and from 71st to 75th Street. That's traffic. Got Tom back.
I bought football tickets for my husband's birthday, and now I'm in a football bubble. All I see online are articles and ads about football. I hate feeling manipulated. I downloaded DuckDuckGo and saw a difference right away. Take back your privacy online with DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana. Taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Open wide, sparkling ears seeing her when she rattles by. For 7 years, paid my dues in this heartless town. I know they'll never.
You're listening to Driving at Home with Patti Vasquez. Apparently, I'm going to find a bunch of songs that Chris Jones has that involves driving. His band is called Chris Jones and the Night Drivers. That one is called Tonight I'm Gonna Ride. And I do want to follow up on a breaking news story that Bobby Rush has announced that he is going to retire. That is breaking news in the last half hour. United States Representative Bobby Rush is going to retire, and that's being reported by, I believe, it was NBC News that broke that. And we'll talk more about that as we learn more. And of course, that will be whether or not he retires. I have to find out if that means he's retiring right away. Sometimes it means that someone is going to step down immediately. Sometimes it means that they are not going to seek re-election. So I'm not getting any more information except for Bobby Rush is retiring, and that's from Mary Ann Ahern. Todd's joining the conversation from Naperville. Hi, Todd. What's on your mind today?
Hey, Patty. How you doing?
I am very well. Hanging in there, trying to stay cheerful.
Yeah, well, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year, Todd.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, of course, the thing about I just watched it last night, the new season of Cobra Kai.
Yes! How'd you like it?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, they brought in Thomas Ian Griffith, who played Terry Silver, in the second or third season, I believe it was, of Karate Kid.
Yep.
And so they're bringing everybody together. They got Ralph Macchio, William Zabka, the guy that plays John Kreese. And it's just been a great run the last 3 years. I mean, it gets me amped up sometimes.
Well, okay, a couple things. So I'm going to dork out a little bit with Todd for a minute, everybody. So if those of you who aren't familiar yet with Cobra Kai, which is now a Netflix series, started out as a YouTube series. Netflix bought it up because they saw how popular it was, and it was such a great concept. I mean, to go from the original movie and they pick it up where Johnny is.
They pick it up 30 years later. Where Johnny's down and out, and he's trying to bring it back and bring back Cobra Kai, and it's just like, and then he brings all these new kids and stuff in. It started out with this one, his neighbor's kid, who was getting his butt kicked, and at a mini mart or something like that, and he just got into it because these bullies were throwing this kid around, and then he became a student, and then he went to the tournament, and it just been exploding all over the place, in terms of how the story has gone. And whoever is writing for this TV show is like a genius, because every season, every episode has just been explosive. I love watching it all the time.
Well, here's two things. One, in an interview recently, Ralph Macchio did allude, because she is in the universe, and it would still make sense artistically to invite Hilary Swank, because she was in Karate Kid 4 and did study with Mr. Miyagi. And so I told people I was going to dork out on this. And the other thing I will say this, Todd, a friend of mine posted about how stupid it was, and she was, and look, if it's our guilty pleasure, it's our guilty pleasure. However, one of the things that I'm fascinated by what this series has done, you would never care as far as 80s movies went, right? The bullies were just the bullies. whatever movie it was, whether it was Some Kind of Wonderful or Pretty in Pink, the rude, nasty people. But what I love about Cobra Kai is they often show how trauma impacts people to lash out, to become aggressive, to not be able to manage their emotions, right? And actually in this last, right? Don't you think? Because in this,
absolutely.
Yeah, Mrs. LaRusso, when she talks to that young girl who came, busted up her house, she goes, "I need you to get support. I need you to talk to somebody." And like that, whether it's Cobra Kai, I can never remember what's the when they show the Vietnam images, right? You find out that like they were in a case. Like, it's just interesting how they kind of put these stories together in a way that you go, yeah, I could see why I would be that angry. Why I would be.
Yeah, and it was even John Kreese and Terry Silver, and then they're going through, the PTSD that they went through when they were in Vietnam and stuff, So they're mentally reliving it, and and they're showing it, throughout the TV show, as to how they became, who they are.
Yep.
And how they're inflicting, these things upon these kids, who are, they're teenagers,
Right.
Yeah, and it just kind of, it drives me nuts, that, unfortunately, people who did go through Vietnam and this and that, and it just, the whole broad spectrum of the whole show is just, I mean, there's so many elements to it, and layers, and you have to watch it, a couple of times to actually realize.
Oh, I will.
I know, right?
Yeah.
The particulars of each character, Ralph Macchio, Danny, and Johnny, and Kreese, Richard Cove, I think is his name is. Who plays Richard? And that guy, he's like 67 years old.
Yeah.
He's still kicking ass. He's still kicking ass in the TV show. It's funny.
I know. I kind of want to take martial. I took mixed martial arts in my 20s, and I stopped when they started hitting me in the face, and I didn't have any headgear yet.
Okay. I took Aikido. I took Aikido when I was in college. So
were you kind of thinking about? Are you thinking about trying it again? Because I watch these folks. Like I watch these 50-year-old, 60-year-old, 70-year-old actors. I'm like, I want to take some jujitsu. I want to take all that stuff. Todd, I do have to tell you one thing. I have something. I was trying to figure out how to do this because. So one of my friends is on the series, and I have to tell you, every time I see him, I'm so tickled. I had the pleasure of meeting Paul Walter Hauser, who plays Stingray. Right?
Oh yeah, really?
Yes.
Oh my God!
He's a friend of mine. He's a Chicago comic. So I was so thrilled they brought him back because his career has taken off. For those who don't know him by name, you've seen him in I, Tonya, Black Klansman, Da 5 Bloods, Cruella. I mean, he's a character actor now. He actually plays Richard Jewell in the Clint Eastwood movie. That's Paul Walter, and he actually contributed to my
the new Clint Eastwood movie.
The Richard Jewell movie. Yep. About the bombing at the Olympics. Yeah. He contributed to my campaign. He was the quickest. Like I emailed him like, "Hey, I'm running for office. I'm running to be the state rep." He's like, "What do you need?" He is genuinely sweet and deserves all the success that he has right now. So if nothing else, watch Cobra Kai because I'll try to get him on soon to talk to him about that adventure. But he steals the movie in I, Tonya. Remember, he plays the security guard. If you haven't seen that, he's brilliant. Yeah. Watch for him getting nominated in the next few years for an Academy Award as the supporting actor. I guarantee it.
Well, I don't want to give it away, but he was actually in season 4. So, but I'm not going to give away the story to anybody. They're going to have to watch the damn show.
That's right. Watch the show. Well, that'll be our next. But I think that from a point of progressives, right? I think talking about how trauma weaves its way through this series is also an approach and how we deal with mental health. So, thank you for opening the conversation, Todd. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much, Patty.
Of course. Have a good night. Talk to you again soon. And we have someone sent me a bit of the Sun-Times story. Rush told me he finalized his decision not to seek another term in the last several weeks, and it came after a conversation with his grandson, Jonathan, 19, who said he wanted to hear more about his grandfather. So Representative Bobby Rush has announced that he will not be seeking another term. So that seems to be that he will not be running for re-election. And Brian from Joliet is on the line. Hi, Brian. How are you doing?
Well, I'm under the weather. Hope you're doing well, Patty.
Oh, Brian, what's going on? You feeling a little, is it fatigue? Are you a little bit of a cold?
Well, no. When you get older, like me, you have a variety of physical health problems, but I thank you for your concern.
Yeah, good days and bad days, right?
Right.
There you go.
Okay, just real quick, I'd like to recommend a couple songs. 1983, Burning Down the House, Talking Heads, and also I think 1983, Be Actor, Gil Scott-Heron, and in reference to last January 6th, I find it highly unusual that an 18-year-old ripping off a large screen TV can get as much jail time as fascists committing treason and attempted murder, and I think that the majority of the corporate mass media communications are definitely not made in the name of democracy, but in the name of the privileged few. But then again, there are varying degrees of prostitution.
Well, that's a lot to cover there, Brian. I like when you've got all the notes down and you throw them at us. I'm so cautiously optimistic when it comes to justice being served. I'm actually not optimistic. I think that everyone's going to get away with it and not get their just rewards on this one. That's just my sense of things. Don't you think?
I think you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but we'll see what happens. Like I said before, where there's life, there's hope, and don't give up the fight for democracy.
That's right. I just got to get through this shoulder pain. I don't know why I just shared that with you. I can't, you know what? We all have our good days and bad days. I'm 50, so I'm not quite where I should be. Like, I have my good days and bad days health-wise, but I can't move my arm. Like, I haven't been playing baseball or anything, but my right shoulder hurts like I've been pitching for the, for the Northwest Side Dames over here or something. I got to figure that out. Do you have any suggestions for joint pain, Brian? Any remedy?
Thank you very much, Patty, for taking my call.
No recommendations for my shoulder. He's like, I don't want to be held responsible for not curing your shoulder pain. I don't. It's one of those things where after 50, when you talk about how you slept funny, it hurts. Like you get up and you kind of stretch a little bit, and you feel a little bit better. But those are not going away. Do you know on TikTok there is a trend right now where and this a few years ago I thought it was funny that young people were dyeing their hair gray. That was a trend, but now they're putting like dark circles under their eyes is a trend on TikTok. So what's next? Groaning loudly when you get out of bed? Is that the next trend on TikTok? Because I nailed it. I got that one down. 773-763-9278 to join our conversation. That's 773-763-WCPT. And I want to say hi to all of our friends who are joining us on the live stream. Yeah, Barry, I have to say that the Biden administration has been sending mixed messages when it comes to public health policy. I think that there's a way to do this. I wish that it was sort of at least be on the same page, not like, force people to send out the exact same messaging, but at least if it was cohesive, people would be more trusting. When you see the CDC come out with their guidelines, and I know that they're, kind of having to adjust and be nimble along the way, but that has not helped. Obviously, people are, now the CDC says it's okay to give gremlins water after midnight. It's that's basically the kind of attitude a lot of people are taking. And Christy says that it is terrible in Phoenix, that they are drowning in hospital patients and struggling there as well. And Lehman says that the episode that sticks out for me the most from Twilight Zone. I'm not sure if it was the Burgess Meredith one or the one with the pig faces, but more conversation on all these topics and more. And I do want to talk about, some of the things that I think that Democrats have needed to be in a position of being better examples, really being a better example. We need to, we can't take the moral high ground if you're just going to pee on everyone from there. That really wasn't where I wanted to go with that. Let's see. Let me try a different one. We can't be on a moral high horse if our high horse is crapping all over the place. I'm not really liking any of these metaphors. Give me call if you have a better one. 773-763-9278. I'll figure this all out. Or not. We're just making it up as we go.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Great job. You broke a bad habit. Now, how do you build something better in its place? I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN's chief medical correspondent. A habit, by definition, is something you do without too much thought. And what constitutes a good habit is going to be different for me than it is for you. Once you find something that works, you're going to get that unmistakable rush of dopamine that will not only make you feel good, it'll help reinforce the habit. So, how do you do it? Experts I recently talked to for my podcast, Chasing Life, told me two important keys are reducing friction and temptation bundling. Reducing friction just means you're making whatever it is you want to do as easy as possible, the least number of obstacles in your way. And temptation bundling might mean you allow yourself to watch a TV show or a movie, but only if you're working out. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
I can only play a few seconds of this, Brian. I gotta roll it down. I have to roll that down because I'm just sampling on YouTube, and for FCC reasons, I can't play entire songs. But Brian, I found I've got Talking Heads, Burning Down the House, and it's sadly, if you'd asked me who sings this song, I would have probably said like Robert Plant or something. I always mix up my my musicians, my band names, songs, all those things. I also want to, we mentioned briefly that Bobby Rush has announced that he will not be seeking re-election. He wants to spend more time with his family. And I also want to let people know. So President of Cook County, Toni Preckwinkle, announced today, she tweeted out, "Today I am saddened to hear of the passing of Frank Zuccarelli, Thornton Township Supervisor and Committee Person, a resident of South Howland. Frank has been a devoted community member and champion for the South Suburbs for nearly 40 years, serving on a number of boards for community organizations." She says she sends her deepest condolences to his family and loved ones. I have been talking to folks for the last few weeks, beginning on December 21st, I sent out some messages to those in the media because I wanted confirmation that that there was, in fact, somebody who had tested positive at the Cook County Democrats. The Democratic Party had a slating event where people present, whether it's Cook County Sheriff and judges, the committee people from all of the Cook County were meeting for 2 days, over the course of 2 days. I believe it was like December 3rd and 4th. It was early December. And I received a message about a week and a half out that Frank Zuccarelli's driver had tested positive and that people who had attended the event were notified. Now, I also was told that there were more people who had tested positive, and in the ensuing weeks, I have come I've talked to people who said that they were exposed because somebody that they were around had been at the slating event. So I reached out to the Cook County Board, the Cook County Committee, to ask if someone could comment because, from what I am understanding, this possibly was a super spreader. So I wanted to find out what have they done in order to notify people. When were people notified? How many people have tested positive? And what contact tracing measures legislators were activated, and we have not heard from the Cook County Democratic Party, and so we're curious about that. Maybe we'll have a conversation tomorrow. Again, we've reached out. I want to find out, because this was a lot of our conversation in the last few weeks, where there was this overconfidence that because we are vaccinated, we could gather without any regard for wearing masks. I have several photos of legislators and electeds who I know were at the event, who were at other events unmasked in the following days in my community, which means that we have people who are possibly spreading it here. So please wear the masks. Please, if you can, order KN95s or 95s. I know that these are not cheap. They are, I got about, I think, 50 at the price of about 80 cents per. But I want to have, and I'm wearing the KN95 under another mask. My husband asked me why I did that. Well, I'm just because I just want to put something pretty on top, but also I want to be safer. So please wear your masks. Please wash your hands. Please look and continue to support our local businesses when you do go out. I'm going to go ahead and guess that most of the folks listening right now are going to be patient. That you're going to be ready with your vaccination cards, with your masks handy when your server approaches, when you are putting an order, when you're speaking closely to somebody. Please put your mask back on. Once you enter an area that is filled with people who are unvaccinated, you are not immune. You are protected. You are not immune. Yes, from the very beginning, we've talked about how a vaccination does not mean you will not transmit it, that you will not catch COVID, but it does teach your body how to respond to the virus so that you do not become severely ill, and we can prevent fatalities. And that we have the tools. Now, in addition to the tools, because we have, I think it's about 89 million people in this country who are not vaccinated. Those who choose not to be vaccinated, do not want to be vaccinated, who believe that apparently they are important enough for the government to put trackers in there. Believe me, you're not that important. No one wants to know where you're going. But then there are those who cannot. Children under 5 cannot. We are seeing more positive cases amongst children who are under the age of 5. We are having hospitalizations. And that's the other thing, too, is this whole idea, there's always somebody who's going to say 0 kids get it, or 0 kids die from it, or 0 kids get sick. First of all, no, that's demonstrably false. And so, well, it's not a big number. So when is it? What's the acceptable number of children dying from COVID or testing positive or having lifelong effects? That's the other thing that nobody surviving. Yes, you can survive COVID, and we do in greater numbers than we have in fatalities. Again, there's this dismissiveness for those who do die. Basically, well, they were going to die anyway. How old were they? How much did they weigh? What was their lifestyle? So and even the lieutenant governor of Texas, remember last year, he was saying that his parents were willing to die so that the kids would have a better future. Like, that was something that the conservatives were saying a year ago. And even not even that, while President Biden, I think, has lowered his guard or given out mixed messages when it comes to what it means to be vaccinated and staying safe. You do need to mask. You do need to stay socially distanced. But at least he's not saying ridiculous, myths like, oh, it's going to go away at Easter time, or, once it's warm out, it's just going to disappear. We only have a few deaths. The difference is the fact that Democrats, that we are challenging each other and saying we need to have these conversations. We need to be honest. And that's why I'm asking the folks at the Cook County Democratic Party what happened at their slating event last month, and how many events did they have? Were people being safe? How are they tracing? It means that we are willing to have those hard conversations and hold each other accountable and stand up and say, you know what? This is what we did. This is what we're going to do, because we don't get it from conservatives. All we get is, no one. If you just have, if we have the right treatments, if we could just have this ivermectin paste, or that the vaccinations. There are somehow proof that people who are vaccinated are getting COVID, are proof that vaccines don't work. The fact that they're not dying, the fact that the hospitalization of people who are unvaccinated is somewhere around 90%, that's the truth. But it's so complicated to understand for some people. Oh, I'm so mad right now. I can't. Somebody call and talk about Cobra Kai again. No, these are important, hard conversations to have. And it isn't about, look, if we want to talk about whose fault it is, I guess we could do that all day long. But now we have to take responsibility for how we behave from here on out. It's Judy. See, I knew someone would call and put me in a better mood. Hi, Judy.
Hey, I wanted to tell you, we have like 13 more minutes of afternoon, and today is the first day that my radio didn't fade. All of a sudden, I was sitting here and thinking, I haven't had to turn it up. I haven't had to twist it. It just went right to the end.
Oh.
I was hoping I had a few minutes to tell you that.
That's wonderful. I know I have a friend, our friend Tony, who worked on my campaign. Tony Rodriguez said that he's been going out to his garage to listen to the show on his car radio because he can still get the signal there. And we're like, Tony, if you have a smartphone, you can put it right on your smartphone and listen to the show. And if on your laptop, on computers.
Crazy as I am.
Judy, how was your New Year's celebration?
It was fine. I was worried about telling people that Europe was having their midnight at the wrong time, and I thought, how did I do that? First thing I thought was, well, you're 81. Things like this happen. Your mind goes back. So, but I thought, I only asked my sister once what time it was, and that was in this summer. So right away, there's the fallback thing. And I don't know if they have that.
Oh, I see.
Crazy enough to have that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that I know my sister listens to BBC all the time. And I thought that BBC always tells the time, but they're on Greenwich Mean Time.
Right.
Apparently she's not.
Oh.
So that was the problem.
Well, you're getting a lot of hellos from our friends on social media, all of your fans there.
Everybody.
Yeah, Lamont says hi.
We all made it to 22, and now we just got to go day by day. Every night I say, okay, we're still here.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of us through the night.
Yes.
We only have one of those really good masks. I think if my husband goes to the store again, I'm going to make him wear it, even though he doesn't like it. Because the man next door, Nazim, brought over this whole bag of stuff like 2 years ago, February, before it even was. Because they all worked at Stroger.
Oh.
And, yeah, he brought everything but hand sanitizer. But I found all kinds of. We have a mouthwash that's you can drink it. It's like 80 proof. So I poured that on some wipes and took them in my purse.
Oh, that's smart. I like that little Ziploc bag of your homemade wipes. It's perfect.
Yes.
Yep. Well, Judy, I love that you called to help me close out the show. I'll be back tomorrow, and I'm glad to hear that you got a little extra terrestrial radio time. The signal.
I did.
That's wonderful news. Thank you for letting me know.
Yeah, I think we're past it because, we got every day we're getting more afternoon.
Exactly. Little by little. Thanks, Judy. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, bye-bye.
Have a good night. The Devil's Advocate is up next. And yes, one of our texters says that thank you so much to our texter from the 773. Yes, some people with medical conditions can't and shouldn't get vaccinated. So it is on us as well to keep them safe as well as our families. Be well, everyone. Mike Root's up next. Thanks, Paul. Have a good night.
Looking for quality candidates this new year? Look no further than Indeed. Our new video interview tool takes the hassle out of virtual hiring. Visit Indeed.